What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have what looks to be a very fun team submitted to the channel by Ernstero. So shout out to this battler, thank you for sharing this with us. Jellicent there, and Double Dark in the back, Scrafty, and Hyper-Boom Obstagoon. I know it's Hyper Beam, but we're booming. So I'm excited to see if any Hyper Beams land, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, getting into the first battle here, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Mandibuzz. This is actually a terrible matchup, especially since they don't have Ice Beam. So we will see a swap out right away into Obstagoon, and in comes a Scrafty. This is where things can get very interesting. Scrafty only having access to Power Up Punch as the fighting charge move is not going to be enough to take down, and with 1 HP and a dream, Obstagoon gets to the Hyper Beam. Please. Boom! One-shots the Scrafty. It takes switch advantage and now has Scrafty aligned to Mandibuzz. You may be thinking that's not the best of matchups either, but honestly, because of the typings at play right here, it's actually very good, especially with Power Up Punch. So we will see the first charge move come through. It's going to be the Aerial Ace, and honestly doesn't do too much damage. As long as this Scrafty starts ramping up its damage with Power Up Punch, those counters are really going to start to hurt. But this is the power of Obstagoon. Obstagoon has been one of the most consistent Pokemon we have seen in the Ultra League since the very beginning. It is so strong with its typing and moveset, and it can take people by surprise with Hyper Beam or Gunk Shot versus Charmers. Now, Scrafty here is going to have to start shielding at some point, as Aerial Ace will begin to add up, but we'll have to see what they decide to do, as they're not swapping out as well. So, Mandibuzz now going for another charge move. This is where shields are going to start coming up here on the Scrafty, and it's all about what is in the back, so we will have to see. The Aerial Ace is shielded, and now Mandibuzz is starting to go down very quickly to these counters, so another Power Up Punch is going to be coming through. I'm guessing something in the back is weak, as they are shielding Power Up Punches, which is a big tell that something's in the back is weak to Scrafty. So Scrafty's going to go ahead and shield again, stopping that final Aerial Ace and try to fully counter down. No, they're going to go for the Power Up Punch here. So I don't know how many charge moves that was, but it was about a good minute, maybe two, of charge moves, and counter is going to be able to take down the Mandibuzz. This Scrafty is so loaded on damage, and they're going to go ahead and go for another Power Up Punch here versus the Shadow Drapion in the back. Now, this game is not over. Shadow Drapion having Crunch is going to be very deadly, but these counters, my goodness, are really starting to add up. This charge move as well, I think, is just Crunch, which might not be enough. It is not enough to take out the Scrafty, so Scrafty getting those 2 extra counters in is critical here, as Jellicent is going to have to get to this Bubble Beam to close the game out. Shadow Drapion having access to Crunch will be doing super effective damage, and Jellicent is going to be able to hang on right there and get to this Bubble Beam, and that might just be a good game, very well played. Hopefully this is enough damage. I think it will be. Yeah, that is going to be enough damage. So good game, very well played. Obstagoon with Hyper Beam obviously taking it there for this battler on the safe swap. Alright, moving into the next battle, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Umbreon. Another terrible matchup. Send out the Obstagoon. Here it comes, and let's see what decides to come in. It's going to be a Cresselia. That is not the best answer to an Obstagoon, especially an Obstagoon with a lot of energy advantage. So here comes the Night Slash, and this is where things get really fun because it can get the boost. I know, I always describe it whenever Night Slashes comes through. You guys know it has the potential to get the boost. And a double boost! Alright, this game's over. This match is over. We started with Hyper Beam. We're getting a double boosted Obstagoon here in the mid game. This is just a wrap. And I put these battles in random order as well. I think there was 10 submitted to me, and I just threw them in there. So I don't know what the rest are, but man, that Night Slash does so much damage. They can easily double shield right here and completely farm down. Having a Hyper Beam as well after double boost, this is going to be insane. So they stopped the next Moonblast right there. They can fully counter down a Cresselia loaded on energy. Let's see what decides to come in. It's going to be a Swampert. Yeah, Swampert's going to get destroyed. Just going for Night Slashes now. We might actually see a swap into Umbreon as well, because this Swampert is not going to be able to do enough damage or survive long enough to take out the Obstagoon, especially with this Night Slash. Ooh, this is going to do so much. That's double boosted, neutral damage. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so Obstagoon completely taking this top left, man. It's game over. Yeah, good game. Double boosted right there. All right. This is going to be a fun video. Okay. I'm glad this battler submitted these to me. Here we go. Moving into game 3. What is going to happen this time? We got Jellicent versus Ho-Oh. Oh, okay, the game froze. All right, we're back. Shadow Ho-Oh at that, so probably has access to Sacred Fire, but thankfully they do have Bubble Beam right here and Shadow Ball, so they're going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball, trying to do as much neutral damage as they can, and hopefully this lands. That would actually be very ideal, and it does land. That is huge right here for the Jellicent, as they can safely shield if they want to, and then get to a Bubble Beam. No, they're going to let it go. It is going to be Sacred Fire. Even though that is resisted, that was an incredible amount of damage. And that is a Sylveon that just swapped in. This is not good. Sylveon having Charm is going to shred through this backline here of Obstagoon and Scrafty. So they're going to have to get to 2 Bubble Beams now to lower the damage on Charm. And then I think they're going to have to come in with Obstagoon right here, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, they do come in with Obstagoon now, and this is not looking good. So while the first 2 games, Hyper Beam landed, incredibly cool, double boost, this third game is looking to be a GG, as this Sylveon is going to be able to just tear through with Charm. So here it comes, the first Night Slash, going to be resisted because of typings here, but they get a shield anyways. Okay, very interesting call. The Sylveon really needs to pay attention to the fact that they had to swap in an Obstagoon here to try to take it down, so they're probably reading there is a fighter in the back, and they decide to no-shield it right there and just going to Charm down. Yeah, this is looking to be a good game. Unless the Sylveon lets this go. Those 2 Bubble Beams really added up to allow Obstagoon to live long enough to get 2 shields as well. That is actually pretty huge right here. Sylveon is going to fully farm down. It's going to be up to Scrafty to close this game out. Jellicent as well might be able to catch a charge move here, but this is going to come down to the wire. They swap out into Wall Rain. They left this Sylveon, and this is now opening an opportunity for Scrafty to sweep this game. Having a Wall Rain on the field right here is going to allow it to throw these power-up punches and just fully farm down. Now, it needs to be careful about a Earthquake and multiple Icicle Spears, so they have to be careful, and they're going to go ahead and let the Earthquake go through. This is going to be very dangerous, as Sylveon, remember, has Charm. This is a fighting Dark typing here with Scrafty, so they're going to go ahead and shield the Icicle Spear, try to farm down. Hopefully, they win CMP tie, as I believe Sylveon might just have enough energy right here. And it does decide to come in, but no, the Sylveon gets to the charge move. Is this going to be the Moonblast? No, it's just going to be a Psyshock. That's going to be resisted right there. Power-Up Punch as well is going to be resisted. I don't think it's going to be enough. How is Scrafty going to be able to take this one? It is enough damage! My goodness, they're going to be able to get to the foul play before Incinerate can come through. And Scrafty, holding up his pants right here, says, watch me take this game and completely sweep. Scrafty, you guys thought we were worried? No. Buckle up, everyone. These are going to be some fun battles. 3 amazing ones so far. All right, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Talonflame this time. Again, somewhat of a neutral matchup. Has to watch out for the Brave Bird here. Talonflame as well, if goes 2 shields, can do well against this team. But thankfully, Jellicent does have access to Bubble Beam. This is not only going to be doing super effective damage, but potentially getting a shield. No, they saw it better. Remember, it takes 5 hexes on that first one to get to Shadow Ball and 4 to get to the Bubble Beam, so they clearly read that. And they're opting to go for the Brave Bird right away, but that honestly didn't do too much damage. Now, we do see the Cresselia come in. So here comes the Obstagoon and the potential, once again, to get those boosts. Night Slash right here, not going to do too much damage, as Cresselia is very tanky, and no boost right there. You guys were expecting it, though, as how this video was going. I was, too. But Moonblast now is going to land, and that does quite a bit of damage. Now, Cresselia cannot farm down with Psycho Cut. It's going to have to land a charge move in order to win this mid-game, which is going to be very crucial here. Now, with Talonflame as well, you don't necessarily want to have Scrafty aligned to it, just because of the damage that's going to be coming out and the resisting of counter. So the ideal thing here might just to be able to get energy advantage and completely farm down with Obstagoon if you can get to 1 more Night Slash here. And we'll have to see, as this is not going to do enough, but if it gets the boost, they might be able to farm down with counter. Alright, let's see. No boost right there, so definitely not going to be able to farm down. Cresselia gets to the grass now. I think this is a bit quick for Moonblast. We'll see. No, it was another Moonblast. Alright, so Cresselia is going to go ahead and take it. That's fine. they're going to come back in with Jellicent and farm down with Hex to get as much energy as possible. So, let's see how this plays out. Talonflame deciding to come back in. That's a huge tell for whatever could be in the back. And the Jellicent is free to just throw these bubble beams right here to apply that debuff and get shields. So they're going to go ahead and go for another one right away. And this is where we might see Scrafty swap in depending on how they're reading this. They do get 2 shields. That's actually huge now for Jellicent, as Talonflame is going to have to throw the charge move here. And this might just be Flame Charge. They're going to go ahead and shield. It was actually another Brave Bird right there. And the final Pokemon is going to be a Swampert. So this is a beautiful setup now, as they can throw the Shadow Ball here for neutral damage. Swap right into that Scrafty after throwing a Bubble Beam. Okay, Hydro Cannon now going to come through. I thought they were going to come right in with Scrafty and just throw the Foul Play to kind of close this game out. But taking the Hydro Cannon is fine as well. Scrafty going to have to commit to the hard farm down, as 1 Hydro Cannon or 2 Hydro Cannons is really not going to be enough. One is definitely not enough. 2 is kind of close, but not really. So as long as they farm down, they should be looking very good right here, as the next one coming through will be able to survive as long as it is another Hydro Cannon, which it is. And Scrafty now has enough energy to throw that Foul Play here versus Talonflame and close this game out. So Scrafty once again closing things up very nicely here in game, I think it's game 4. So that's going to be a good battle, very well. Oh, it wasn't enough damage. They have 2 Foul Plays. It's fine. I thought it was going to be just enough neutral damage right there, but that's okay. Talonflame going to be going down now to Scrafty's energy farm. And let's go ahead and move into the next battle here. All right. We have Jellicent on the lead versus Dragonite. Okay, interesting right here. Let's see what they decide to do. Obviously, they really need to threaten with the potential Ice Beam, so they're just going to go ahead and go straight for the Shadow Ball. Again, because of that typing there on Dragonite, it's going to get one shot, so they have to shield right here, or think they're calling the bait. Oh, wow, if that was an Ice Beam, that would have been one shot. That would have been beautiful right there. But Dragonite going to go ahead and load up on energy, and now throwing the charge move. Is this going to be an Outrage, though, or Hurricane? It's going to be the Hurricane, and Jellicent barely actually is able to hang on and throw the Bubble Beam now to apply that debuff here to the Dragonite. And Dragonite read that all day long, knowing that it was not enough energy for the charge move. So they're going to go ahead and come in with Obstagoon and farm down with Counter just before Dragonite could get off the charge move. And here comes the charge, our triple flyer team. Hopefully it is not a Togekiss in the back as well, but Obstagoon with this much energy is looking very strong, as Night Slashes here are going to start adding up, and they get a boost. Definitely looking very strong now. So they're obviously going to be shielding this Obstagoon, because these Night Slashes are going to tear through, and we don't know what is in the back, but this Charizard needs to get rid of this Obstagoon as quickly as possible. But with 2 shields, that's going to be a tough order for him to do. Shielding the Dragon Claw now, it's going to be a race to the next charge move, and they do get to the Night Slash in time. But this is where we're going to have to read. If the Charizard shields, they're weak to counter and dark in the back, and it does, which means Scrafty now should be able to take this game. And they could easily shield right here and get to one more Night Slash. It's going to be a close one. Fire Spin versus counter, but let's see who gets to it in time. Charizard does get to the Dragon Claw, but I don't think this is going to be enough damage, as Obstagoon is still kind of tanky in this meta, and it's definitely not. So they're going to be able to overload a bit on energy and farm down completely, and we do see that it's actually a Magnezone in the back. So they're going to go ahead and throw the Night Slash here, and Scrafty is going to close this game out nicely, as counter should do enough damage right there, and that's going to be a good game. Very well played. Wild Charge now coming through from the Shadow Magnezone, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take down Scrafty, as it holds on here to get off the Power Up Punch to win this battle. So far, some really, really fun battles to watch right here. Double Dark is obviously a very strong team core that you can have in the Ultra League, and running with Jellicent as well. Definitely looks fun. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Umbreon again. Okay, so we're going to see that Obstagoon come right in, and let's see what they decide to answer with. They decide to come in with Talonflame this time, so they're going, oh yes, they're going for the Hyper Beam. Come on! Here comes the charge move. They're going to let it go through his Brave Bird. I don't think it's going to be enough damage to one-shot, but it's just going to be a Flame Charge right here. So here comes the Hyper Beam. Is the Talonflame gonna shield? My guess is no. I want to throw the Boom. Oh, it's shielded! Talonflame read that correctly, seeing the potential one-shot coming, and Obstagoon now is going to have to let this go. Talonflame going to be landing the flame charge there. Jellicent now going to come back in. Now, thankfully, Jellicent's typing is going to be resisting the fast moves here, and they're actually going to go for Bubble Beam. Very interesting. I thought they'd just go straight for Shadow Ball, knowing that the Talonflame will likely just no-shield it, as they did get themselves shield advantage. But this is where you got to fear the Brave Bird, and they're going to let it go! Nearly one-shots the Jellicent right there, which is very tough. They're going to go ahead and go for Bubble Beam now to debuff the Talonflame one more time, and they're going to have to swap out right away into Scrafty. But the Bubble Beam lands. What is going to be in the back? We know Umbreon was on the lead. Here comes the Scrafty. Final Pokemon is going to be something weak to Scrafty, as they are obviously not swapping out. Last Resort does land. Not too much damage there, but Scrafty looking very strong. It must be something like Cresselia, maybe? I don't know, a Psychic, it's gotta be, or a Ghost in the back, because Scrafty right now is just gonna clear through this Umbreon. They're gonna no-shield again as well. This Umbreon is clearly wanting to get themselves shield advantage by staying in, but Scrafty says that's fine with me. I'm gonna go for these power-up punches right here, and then probably fully commit to the farm down now at this point, to get as much energy as possible, and maybe just give up one shield here. No, they do fully counter down, but not before the Last Resort can come through. They're gonna shield now, so it's gonna be 1-to-1 shields, and we don't know what that third Pokemon is gonna be. It's gonna be a Ferrothorn, so obviously Scrafty now looking incredibly strong here, as these power-up punches will be doing super effective damage, and these counters, my goodness, they are going to add up. So they're gonna have to shield right here. Power Whip needs to be respected. And it's just actually going to be a Mirror Shot shield bait right there. They're going to go for the foul play. Interesting call. I thought they might as well just go for power-up punches, as they will be getting a shield at some point, as they do right here. And they're going to have to catch the charge move, because here comes the charge move from Ferrothorn. If this is Power Whip, it might just be game over. No, it's just a Mirror Shot. That's not going to be enough damage, and Scrafty is going to be able to counter down. And that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right, moving into the next one here. We have Jellicent on the lead versus Defense Form Deoxys. A very positive lead right here for the Jellicent. We do see a swap into Ninetales, a Charm Ninetales at that. So this is definitely something you do not want to swap into, especially with the double dark backline. You have to stay in with Jellicent here, and at least with Obstagoon and Scrafty, they have the capability to fight back against Defense Form Deoxys because of the typing matchup and having Foul Play and Night Slash. So Jellicent here going to go ahead and shield the Weather Ball, even though that is going to be heavily resisted. They need to keep as much health as they can to try to get this Alolan Ninetales out of there. And if the opponent is reading this correctly, they got to know they're extremely weak. But they let the Ninetales go down, and an Obstagoon is going to come in, which is even better. They can go for Bubble Beam now and probably just swap into their own Obstagoon for the Mirror Fight. No, they're going to go into the Scrafty instead, and we will see Defense Form Deoxys come in. So this is where those foul plays are really going to help out. Again, saving Jellicent here for Defense Form Deoxys, as these foul plays are going to be landing for super effective damage. Now, Defense Form Deoxys can still do well, especially with Energy, Rock Slide, Psycho Boost, Thunderbolt. It can do well against Obstagoon and Jellicent, but they decided to no-shield, and that was a mistake, as Defense Form Deoxys, I think, was the only chance to win this game, and Rock Slide is going to be no-shielded there by the Scrafty, clearly showing that they have the Obstagoon in the back to close this game out. Another Rock Slide, not going to be enough. Scrafty hangs on and is going to be countered down, but that's okay, as I think, they're just going to come in with the Obstagoon and come into the Mirror Fight right here, and they can just farm down. They're going to swap into Jellicent, though, to try to catch the charge move here, which is fine. You do force energy, but if this gets the boost... No boost. Okay, so they can just fully counter down. In this situation, though, it is ideal because of having two shields and the amount of HP that's left. You just want to counter down. Don't even worry about throwing a charge move, because you can just shield. Well, actually, there is only one shield left now, but they should be able to counter down. Oh, and they tried to land the Hyper Beam, and that is going to be a good game as Obstagoon. Okay, going for Night Slash here. Is probably going to be no-shielded. There's one shield left on Defense Form Deoxys. Okay, they decide to shield it, but they go down anyways, because when you shield, you still take one damage. All right. moving into the next battle, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Walrein. Okay. So, Shadow Ball obviously going to be very nice for this matchup. They just have to be worried. But actually, they're going to swap right away into Obstagoon, trying to draw out a Charmer, which they clearly saw in the back. And this is where Hyper Beam can come in clutch, or Gunk Shot if you are running it. But here comes the Hyper Beam. Is Sylveon going to shield? Please no shield. Please, I want 2 booms in this video. 2 booms, we get boom! Nearly 1-shots right there, but Sylveon still going to be able to charm down. But Jellicent now can come in and get a bit of extra energy with Hex. And if this is the only counter to a fighter, then Scrafty is going to have a very fun endgame. Alright, so Switch Clock not back up just yet, and we will actually see a Garchomp come in, so very spicy right here, but they're going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball. Scrafty, obviously with 2 shields, can really close this game out well because of Power Up Punch, and they decided to no shield that, so it is able to land. So they're probably just going to let these charge moves go through, bring in that Scrafty, and sweep things up, as Outrage right here is not going to be enough to take down the Jellicent, and they can go for a Bubble Beam now to apply some more shield pressure here to Garchomp, and potentially debuff. Here comes a Bubble Beam. No shielded as well. Garchomp reading that very well. Trying to overload on energy as best as it can. But ultimately, it does not matter. Scrafty is going to take this one even against the Walrein. So, Earth Power going to take out the Jellicent. Scrafty comes in. And Walrein realizes that, well, this is basically game over. As Power Up Punches now, they can just go for it as quickly as possible. Because there's no reason to throw a Foul Play in this matchup. Because your damage is going to be coming from counter. You want to build that up as much as possible. So, they're going to no-shield the Icicle Spear right here. That's a good call, because with the charge moves, you want to be shielding that Earthquake, as Icicle Spears aren't going to be enough to one-shot or near one-shot a Scrafty, so they can start shielding now, noticing that this Walrein is just going to be throwing Icicle Spears all day. And they're going to go for another Power-Up Punch, but ultimately, this is going to be a good game. I think the Walrein, even though if it shields right here, is just going to get countered down, and that is going to be a wrap. They can safely shield right here, this final charge move. Farm down Walrein and take out the Garchomp as well, which is extremely low and energy dry. So they decided to swap in a Garchomp to try to catch a move, but ultimately it didn't matter. Scrafty takes it there in the final battle. So what a set of battles right there from Ernstero. So shout out to this battler. Thank you for sharing this with us. Jellicent, Scrafty, Hyper Boom, Obstagoon. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.